Too Naked to Hide by Nina J. Kors. Chapter 9. Before Lunch. The Women and the Power. Then there was Alessandra, the slut. She had beautiful long black hair. I moved in with her. One day she said, I would like you to move in with me. And I went. From my mother's house to her place. Her parents had a huge historical villa in Fieso d'Artico, in Riviera del Brenta, near Venice. Very beautiful villa. And she worked there, even before she had her degree as a pharmacist. And what was the house like? Were you here in Padova? Of course. We were up in an apartment near the center, overlooking a square of Piazza dei Signori. As you can imagine, it was a very expensive apartment, but, her parents gave it to her. It was tiny, but had a wonderful view, right over the open market. Yes, of course, at 5 a.m., Piazza dei Signori was a bustle of market people. And by 6 a.m., we'd been up for a while. We could never had a full night's sleep in the damn apartment. A gigantic pain in the ass. I had just graduated from college. And then, Roberta? No, in meantime, there was Giovanna. I had met her at the university. Her shrill voice grinded my nerves. Giovanna talked non-stop, but she was top of our class, so we started to study together. And you know how that goes, one thing leads to another. And really, with Giovanna, I could always talk about everything, always. Giovanna was listening. Giovanna was always there for me. And so, what about Alessandra? Oh, Alessandra, she worked a lot. She'd come back from work, dead tired, and I later discovered that she was only working as a shop assistant in a pharmacy, but a shop assistant nonetheless. But her parents always gave her a lot of money. Anyway, it was very annoying for her to always see me with my head buried in books. I was studying for the state prosecutor exam, so we started to fight a lot, quite often. But we stuck together for a little while more. And where does Roberta come in? Oh, Roberta the vapid bimbo. I met her in Albarella. I had just taken my mother down to the beach and then to buy groceries. That's where I met Roberta. She had fallen off her bike because someone had cut in front of her. Her knee was bleeding. I stopped and went to her aid. A true hero. Very romantic. Romantic, my ass. Her bleeding open wound made me sick to my stomach and I threw up, just like that. So she came to my aid with Kleenex. That was for the mere sight of blood, see? He took a glass filled with water and drank it all. She laughed, imagining the scene. He stops to help the girl with the bleeding knee, and then she holds his head as he gags in the middle of the street. And what was she like? She was beautiful. Long, slender legs. She was even taller than me. She had dark blonde hair, and sometimes she pulled it up in a bun. But when she let it down, it was just wonderful. She had this perfect body. She had even worked as a model when she was 18, 20s. She had this supple gait. When she walked, she shifted the weight to her body from one leg to the other, like a queen. She was never in a hurry. When we walked around together, people turned around to look at her. Oh, and she was an artist, a painter. Her parents had both died 2 years before. She has started to study architecture in Venezia, but I don't think she never finished her studies. A goddess, in short. Yes, that's right. But I saw her recently. She didn't age well. She put on quite some weight, and her smile is not the same as back then. I felt sorry for her. Anyway, back to our story. She was always buying tons of books, and she'd go to painting exhibits of the painter she admired most, like Pendini. She was in love with Pendini. You know him? Oh, yes, the one who painted the University of Padova. That's the one. I had never heard of him before. She had a mound of catalogs of his paintings. And then Robert and I decided to get married. I thought it was a good idea, especially because in the meantime Giovanna started to go out with Alberto. So we got a house together north of the station in the Arcella district and we started to furnish it. Rather, she picked the furniture and I paid. Yes, but Alessandra and Giovanna? Yes. One day I go back home to Alessandra, where I was still living, and I found her in bed with some guy. I was also going out with Giovanna, and I still lived with Alessandra. So I peek into the bedroom, and I see her there, bare naked, standing on our bed. Her legs spread out, smoking a cigarette with one hand and holding a bottle of liquor with the other, the stereo blasting, and a strong smell of alcohol in the whole house. She had an ass, the most amazing ass I've ever seen. Jacopo picked up the glass to sip some water, but it was empty. He put the glass to his lips mechanically, pretended to drink, then placed it on the table and filled it with water. And who was he? The guy? Must have been over 50, really. He was laying on the bed, belly up, holding his mouth open while she poured whiskey down his throat. He had this flabby chest and a slightly protuberant belly. He may have been an alcoholic, who knows? And she was 25. I was petrified. I turned the stereo off. The stereo we had bought together, which was right there near the door. She turned around, and without moving from that plastic pose, she yelled, "Get the hell out of here, pack your fucking things up, and leave this house right now." Since I wasn't moving, she yelled again, "I said right now, you understand me?" Right by the closet there was my suitcase, empty but open. She had thrown the butt of her cigarette on the floor. I had never seen her smoke. The louse laying in my bed did not move it an inch. He still had a rivulet of alcohol dripping down his face. "I move it, or I'll throw everything you own out of the window." And so I packed my suitcase. I was supposed to be the pissed one. On top of everything, that was the whiskey I had bought, that was my stereo, and that was my bed. But I couldn't say a word. I opened the closet while the slime bag looked at me. I put all my clothes in the suitcase. Then I went to the bathroom and took the electric razor my mother had just bought me. I took the suitcase to the front door, and she yelled from the bottom of the hall, "Fucking leave already! We've got stuff to do. And leave the books!" I'll have them deliver it. She had turned the music back on, and before I could close the door behind me, she had yelled, "And leave the house keys on the table!" I threw the keys on the living room floor. I grabbed my suitcase and went from Alessandra's house to Roberta's once, and 3 months later, me and Roberta got married. I'm all clogged up with a cold. I think I'll vegetate in front of the TV this morning. A soft kiss. The best cold remedy ever? Fill the heart chakra with kisses and caresses. Wait for me. My fridge is empty. You better come for a coffee. I won't take no for an answer. I'll buy some groceries for us, and I'm there. I'll say that the convention starts earlier. He had reached the office in Monselice. He was renting the office space in partnership with other layers. 3 years earlier, it had seemed like a clever move to get out of the jungle of the law firms in Padova and open an office in the suburbs. Him and the other lawyers took turns, like doctors in a clinic. Jacopo was there on Thursday. Fuck it. Now, got to be back tomorrow again. What a shitty day. He swung the entrance door open and walked straight to the hall. 2 interns stood at the front desk, and the usual secretary, the one his beef-brained associate had found through common acquaintances and with whom he slept regularly every Tuesday night, plus a handful of private encounters in the office at the end of the corridor, with the whole office snickering behind their back. But the two seemed to care less about gossip for over 2 years now. Good day, girls. Good morning, Avocado. Mr. Lucentini is waiting for you in your office. Has he been waiting for long? No, 5 minutes. Would you like a coffee? No, thank you. Actually, yes. I'd better have one. At least there will be a moment of diversion during the meeting. He walked to the room. The door was closed. He hesitated for a moment, then grabbed the handle and opened the door. Okay, so here at the convention everything is very nice and interesting, but I keep thinking about us and about today. Everything's so liquid and bright and delicate and elating, beautiful. I'm yours. My honey, I thank you, and I love you, and I want you again, and I am mad without you, but let's keep it ourselves. And that's it, I can live. I wish I could die. I am on the phone with Giovanna, but I love you. Oh, Jacopo, I think of you, I want you, I love you, and you know what? Today you were mine. But now, thank everyone. Tell everybody goodbye and go home. It's late and you've got tons of things to do tomorrow. You should have stayed home. What? If you caught my cold? Whatever. Sleep under the covers and sleep. Good night. Achoo! I knew it. Good night, my love. What a story. You could make a movie out of it. Yes, sure. I always got it wrong with women, with the only known insignificant detail that I don't know where I went wrong. Maybe you've always chosen the wrong woman? Maybe. But 7 women and 7 suitcases seem like a trifle more than banal coincidence, don't you think? He took again the glass and tipped it to his mouth, took in a tiny sip, and then put it on the table. He took the wine flute, which was empty too, and pretended to take a sip of invisible liquid, then placed it again on the table. He grabbed the Prosecco wine bottle and filled both of their glasses. She drank the wine, a small sip that left her lips moist and glistering. He leaned across the table and blew a cool whiff of air to her chest. She laughed and leaned a bit more towards him. They looked at each other for a few seconds, her eyes always fixed in his. Then he leaned back, spread his legs on the chair, crossed his arms behind his head, and went on. Should I go on? Onward, Captain, always forward. Come forward, Jacopo, welcome. Oh, good morning. Sorry I'm late. His father-in-law was sitting on one of the 2 chairs in front of his desk. His long legs were crossed in a relaxed pose. His handsome grey hair was in disarray. He smiled, his hands over his lap. On second thought, he was almost ex-father-in-law. Now don't worry, Jacopo. I've got plenty of time. Oh, all right. Nothing is all right, thought Jacopo. What is he after now? So let's go out and have some lunch. What do you say? Damn it. Lunch? Really? It must be serious then. Did I get in some trouble? He made a quick self-exam. He didn't find anything that could concern his father-in-law. He had no unfinished business with Giovanna. The kids were all right, or rather okay. He had just cleared his overdraft, so they shouldn't have anything against him at the bank. Of course, if this piece of shit of Favaretto had called his father-in-law 2 days ago to ask him guarantees for that 15,000 euro loan, he was definitely done with that bank. Of course, I'd love to. Great, I booked a table at Mercedes. A table for us, too. Then we need to talk. That's what I'm here for. That was a lie. I'm not here to talk. Talk about what? He walked around his desk, pulled the useless briefcase he had legged around just to look busy, opened it, pulled out the Rossini brief. Fuck Rossini. Tomorrow I'm putting that shithole to rest. Put it on the table, then walked back on the front of his desk and sat on the fake leather chair right across his father-in-law. There was a moment of embarrassing silence. None of the 2 would be the first to talk. Then Jacopo's cell phone rang. Thank you, God, thought Jacopo. He looked at the phone number. It was Chiara. Sorry, I need to take this. It's my office in Padova. Of course. Hello, Chiara? What is it?
Yes, Avocado. I'm sorry to disturb you. Favaretti called. The one from the bank, the bank of the firm.
Yes, Chiara. That's the only bank we have accounts with.
Yes, okay.
So, what is it?
Yes, Avocado, I'm sorry. Mr. Favaretti said that. Yes, I mean.
Go on, Chiara. What did he say?
He said, we're in the red, we're under. You see, I said, look, I'm only the secretary here. I don't know anything about money, nor it's my job to know anything about overdrafts or stuff, but...
Jacopo stiffened on the chair. But what, Chiara?
But since Mr. Favaretto said that he was going to call the lawyer...
The lawyer?
Yes, the other lawyer, Mr. Lucentini... your ex-father-in-law.
Yes?
So, Avocado, then I told him that he could go ahead and tell me. I handled some of the financial matters, I said. And then he said that tomorrow he'll be waiting for you at the bank so you can talk to him. And I said that tomorrow you.
Great job, Chiara. Brilliant. Taking time was the main thing. Yes? What did he say?
Told him that tomorrow you can't go, and so the appointment was going to be set for Monday. But I was going to call you to confirm it, and so I'm calling you, Avocado, to do that.
Perfect, Chiara. You did great.
I'm sorry, Avocado.
I just told you you did a great job. We'll talk about it in the afternoon. Thank you, Chiara.
Yes, okay, all right. Good day to you, Avocado.
You really did a good job, Chiara.
Avocado,
Yes? There was a moment of hesitation, a pause interpreted as thought dance with unspoken things, a pause that weighed heavy between the two, but he didn't recognize it. Yes, Chiara, is there something else?
No, Avocado. No, nothing. So I'll confirm the appointment for Monday?
Yes, I said that was okay. Thank you very, very much, Chiara. I'll never fire her, he thought as he smiled at his father-in-law.
Yes, thank you, Avocado. See you later.
Bye. It was hot. He tried to loosen his tight knot. His father-in-law looked at him straight in the eyes, smiling, not at all hostile. He tried to sit back in his chair to a comfortable position, but that seemed impossible to achieve. A fly flew over the desk, and he craved for a chance to kill it, squish it against the wall. But clearly, this wasn't the right moment for that. A vile day, to say the least. Translation from Italian by Iris Cartia. Original music by Massimo Moretti for Maxmore Music. Post-production editing by Gina Lee. All mistakes are mine. If you want to see pictures of making of and life in Italy, please follow me, Nina J. Course, on Instagram and LinkedIn. You can check my website at twonaked.me.